Hi guys, I just watched a video from Matt Easton talking about curved swords and are they more or less effective. It's awesome. Go check it out. Now, I do a lot of experiments testing the dynamic properties of swords. This is the sword form in thought, and it has the dynamic properties created by Peter Johnson on the collection of a bunch of antique swords from the exhibit in Solingen in Germany. And I create these type of dynamic measurements on antique and replica swords using the dynamic calculator from Vincent Le Chevalier. And I've noticed that while doing these, sometimes the curved swords tend to be a little bit more compact in their dynamic distribution of mass than the longer swords. So I'm like, well, it's not always the case, but is there any truth to this? And Matt has recently said, or he said in other videos, if you have two sabers, for example, and one of them is straight bladed and the other one is the same model but has a curved blade, the curved blade hits harder. So this goes back to the whole debate. Do curved swords cut better, or are they better at doing damage compared to a straight blade of the same type, of the same weight, of the same otherwise dimensions, etc.? Is there any way we can test it? Well, I have a theory, and I'm going to be using some kind of ghetto experiment scientific equipment to test it. So this is going to be my sword, and this is going to be my force gauge, just a little set of fish scales here. Let's see what happens, okay? So let's bring the camera over. Dooba-dooba-dooba-doo. And let's see if I can make this happen. So I'm going to strike the scale. I'm going to adjust the camera so that we can see what's going on. So I'm going to start off with a straight sword. And I'm going to hit it, not at the tippy tip, but kind of at the sweet spot. And we're going to see what it says. Whack, 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 whack. It spikes up to around 30 grams each time. So that's with just a straight blade. Now, what if instead of that, we make a curved blade? And I'm not just going to make a curved blade. I'm going to do reducto ad absurdum and make a super duper curved blade. So this is the shamshiriest shamshir of all time. I'm going to do the same thing. Whack, whack, whack. Whack, 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 whack. Now it's getting to 50, 60 something grams, even though I'm hitting with the same amount of force. And my blade is deforming, so I'm losing energy there. Just out of curiosity, can I make it curve the other way? I'll see if I can curve it in front of my hand a little bit. Whack, 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 whack. Not really significantly harder, just a little bit. But I'll, again, curve it like a shamshir, like that. Up here. Gotta make it a little bit more concentrated. It's a little. All right. So again, hitting significantly harder, and I'll just bring it back to flat again. Again, 20 something grams. So what's one possible explanation for what's going on here? So you have concentration of force is possible. So you're hitting with a smaller area. But I think that something else might be going on. So Russ Mitchell, the fencing instructor, Hungarian fencing instructor, talks about when you have a curved sword, one of the advantages is you have a longer sword that's being cheated and fitting into a smaller area. And something that I hadn't thought about before is if you have a curved blade compared to a straight blade, once you're hitting in one specific area, it should hypothetically have the ability to recruit mass from other parts of the blade, much like an arch, in a way that the energy shouldn't transmit as efficiently if it is straight. I've seen cutting competitions and slow-mo demonstrations and all sorts of other things where you have a straight sword and it hits and the end past the center of percussion is all wobbly. And in a case of a curved sword, I don't think as much of that is going to happen. Now, this is not universal across all types of swords because there's all manner of different swords. But I think the more curved you get, the more of this kind of arch sort of structure should be able to happen, and you should be able to get more of the sword's mass into your strike. So that's one thought I have. It's not a completely formed out thought, and I haven't been able to test it, and it shouldn't work across every type of sword, but it is one idea, and it might explain some of the observations Matt's had, especially with his different type of gymnasium sabers. Anyway, it's a thought. Tell me what you guys think. Take care.